If you're somebody who's looking for a residence permit in Southeast Asia and you're not sure which way to go and where to look, then this video might be interesting to you because the country we're going to be discussing in this video is the Philippines. Now, when you think about a Philippines residence, you immediately think about retirees, and it's very attractive for people who want to retire and just live in a calm and warm environment. However, residencies in the Philippines are not limited to retirees. They're also available to people who are 21 years or older. Now, if you're looking into Philippines, then you're probably somebody who's looking for a comfortable living in a warm climate. This can be a good option for those who are looking to invest in a certain country, make that country your second home. And definitely if you're looking for an affordable and quality healthcare, which is what Philippines is famous for. In addition to that, these options in the Philippines can give you a right to reside in the Philippines for an indefinite time. And the price point in order to get the residence are not that high at all. Another good thing about the Philippines is that it has a somewhat territorial tax system, so it can be managed and you can structure your assets properly so they're taxed at a minimum tax rate or not taxed at all, depending on your situation. However, the bad side of the Philippines residence is that if you're somebody who's looking for a passport through naturalization, then this one might be a bit difficult. As we mentioned multiple times, Asian countries are not really famous for a second passport. And in the case of the Philippines, it takes 10 years to get it. And technically, it generally does allow dual citizenship, but you have to advise the government and you have to, in some cases, get an approval in order to get a dual citizenship. Now, what can also be a bit off-putting is that there are certain programs like SRRV, which is available only to people who are 50 years or older. However, there are other options like the investor visa, which are available to younger people as well. The first off, we have the special investor residence visa, which is available to applicants who are 21 years or older, and there are no nationality restrictions on this one. The requirement is that you have to invest $75,000 in an existing business in the Philippines, in a publicly listed company, or otherwise a company that's engaged in a kind of an investment scheme in the Philippines. There are certain activities that are government approved, so you have to choose to invest in a company that is kind of participating or actively being involved in one of those activities or one of those industries in order to qualify for the investor visa. So some of those industries involve business services, communication services, consulting services, environmental services, educational, healthcare, and so on. So there's kind of a number of industries that you can choose from, but it has to be something that the government supports and has to be something that the government is looking for in order to get approved for this visa. The application process is straightforward on its own, and it takes about approximately 1 or 2 months in order to get approved. Once you are ready to make the investment, you need to transfer those $75,000 in pesos in a Philippine bank. After you get issued the probationary visa, you have a minimum maturity period of 30 days and up to 180 days in order to actually make the investment. So while you're not required to immediately make the investment, it is a requirement in order to get the permanent visa or actually switch from the probationary visa to a regular one. Now, this visa, the investor visa, allows you to stay in the country indefinitely for as long as you hold the investment. And there are no minimum physical presence in order to maintain it. So you can obtain it now and just keep it in your back pocket in case you need it. You can go and live there. You can go spend some time there, use it as part of your trifecta approach. Whatever the case might be, it is a relatively cheap second residence option compared to some other options, namely, let's say, golden visas in Europe or similar. Now, as I mentioned, if you're willing to go towards a passport, it will take you 10 years. You will have to know the Filipino history. You will have to know their language. You have to pass the tests as well for those things in order to be eligible and get the passport. Because of those reasons and because it takes a long time and it's sometimes hard to obtain it, few people in practice actually request a passport, and the Philippines would actually be a place where you would go for second residency, for the lifestyle, for the healthcare, and for some tax benefits as well. So the second option is Special Resident Retiree Visa, or SRRV, and as the name itself says, it is kind of mainly aimed towards pensioners or people who are of certain age. Even in this category, you also have subcategories that you can choose from. So you have SRRV Smile, SRRV Classic, SRRV Human Touch, and SRRV Courtesy. So for example, the SRRV Smile is the easiest one. It requires you to be of 50 years or older, and you have to deposit 20,000 US dollars into a Filipino bank account and keep it there as a deposit for as long as you want to keep the residence. So as I said, that one is the easiest and sometimes the cheapest. The second option is SRRV Classic. It's also aimed towards retirees who are 50 years old or older, and it requires you to deposit $10,000 into a Filipino bank account if you have a pension. And if you don't have a pension, it requires you to put 20,000 US dollars in a Filipino bank account. And in addition to that, you have to purchase a property in the Philippines valued at least 50,000 US dollars. Now, this option, SRRV Classic, is for healthy and active retirees. However, there's also an option for retirees who are sick and in need of healthcare, and that's called Human Touch. Now, if you are a retiree who's 50 years old or older and you need medical assistance or you need healthcare, then Human Touch SRRV visa might be the right fit for you. With that, you have to show proof that you have a pension of 1,500 US dollars per month and that you deposit 10,000 US dollars in a Filipino bank account, and obviously have medical insurance in the Philippines. SRRV Courtesy is kind of the last option and has a slightly lower year threshold when it comes to years. And it's for people who are 35 years old or older. And it's aimed to former Filipino citizens who want to kind of reclaim a resident status in the Philippines. And with this option, you only have to show proof that you have income of 1,500 US dollars and that you are a former Filipino citizen. This option, SRRV Courtesy, is also available to foreigners who are 50 years old or older and who are former diplomats or ambassadors or of similar important position. Now, the whole process of getting the SRRV visa can be very quick. It just requires you to put the deposit there. It requires you to actually go to the Philippines. And approximately 1 month after submission maximum, you will get your response on whether you get the residence permit or not. So both options are fairly quick to obtain. And both can be a good option depending on your circumstances, depending on your situation, your age as well. That will decide what option might be the best for you. As mentioned, these residencies can be a good fit for you if you are looking into a second residence, whether to live there full-time or part-time, or just to have it as a backup residence. If you're interested in hearing more about different residencies, subscribe to our channel, and every other day we post a video about different topics.